Excel has two new functions that make importing data from CSV and text files super easy and, most importantly, completely transparent. Don't get me wrong, Power Query is still my favorite tool for gathering and cleaning data, but CSV and text files are typically already clean, so Power Query can feel like overkill. Plus, if anything goes wrong down the track, the Power Query settings are all encoded in the query editor, which can be daunting to try and troubleshoot. Whereas with these new functions, the encoding and structure are explicit, visible, and easy to control. Now, these functions are currently available to 365 users on the beta channel, which is free to join, and you'll find the link to sign up in the description, as well as the link to download the example files so you can follow along. Let's start with the CSV file because they're the most straightforward. You can see an example of the data here. It's got 4 columns: date, category, product, and sales. And the data is separated by commas. As you'd expect, it's a CSV file. In Excel, we're going to equals import CSV. The first argument is the file path, whether that's a local path or a URL pointing directly to a text file. I'm just going to paste it in. I get a security warning. Paste without active content is fine. Now make sure your file path is wrapped in double quotes. Close parentheses. Press enter, and just like that, my data flows directly into the grid. Now, if we look at the formula bar, I can see exactly where my data is coming from. We've got the file path there in the cell. There's no preview window I had to configure, no steps hidden inside Power Query. And just like Power Query, these imports refresh via the Data tab and refresh all, because Excel essentially treats them as external data connections. Alternatively, if you're working with text files, like this one here, we can use the import text function. Let's take a look. Equals import text. Again, I'll paste in the file path, paste without active content. It's wrapped in double quotes, and I could finish it there, but let's take a look at the optional arguments. The next one is the delimiter. By default, it assumes the file is delimited with commas, but you can specify a different delimiter. For example, a common one is space, which you just enter between double quotes. Alternatively, you could specify fixed width columns by passing a comma-separated array of ascending integers in the delimiter argument. You can see they're wrapped in curly braces, and here each number represents the starting position of the split. So I want everything from the start, that's 0, then split at character number 10, and again at character number 17. This only works well with data that is consistent lengths in a column, like dates, product codes, etc. Next, both functions allow you to skip rows. For example, I can enter 1 here to skip the first row. In the take rows argument, I can specify the number of rows to keep. I'm going to keep them all, so I'm going to skip that argument. With the import text function, I can specify the encoding. For example, UTF-16 is a common format. Just keep in mind that UTF-8 is the default, so you often don't need to specify the encoding. I'm going to skip it. Lastly, the locale argument enables you to specify regional formatting. By default, it uses the locale of your operating system, so it's only required if you're receiving files with formatting from another region. For example, if you're in the United States and you download my practice files, you'll want to enter in double quotes EN-AU, close double quotes, so that my dates are converted to your format. I'll close parentheses, press enter, and it spills the results from the file. And you can see with these functions, every parameter can be explicitly entered, making the decisions visible to your users. Okay, let's look at something more advanced. Because these functions return arrays, we can pass the data into other functions to sort, extract, or summarize it. For example, let's say I want to summarize this sales data using the group by function. I'll keep it up on screen just so we can see it in context while I enter the formula. Now I'm going to Control-Shift-U to expand the formula bar, and up here I'm going to start with the let function. This is just going to make it easy to organize the formula and more efficient to reference the data. Now, if you're not familiar with let, I'll link to a video tutorial in the description. I'm going to Alt-Enter down onto the next row just to keep my formula tidy. Let wants to know the name of my first variable. Well, that's just going to be the data. And how are we getting that data? With import text. I'll paste in the URL, paste without active content, close import text, comma, Alt-Enter. Now all I need to do is enter my formula. So I'm going to group by. The first argument of group by are the row fields. Now the data for the rows I want to group by is the category column, and we can see that's the second column. So I'm going to Alt-Enter down onto the next row, and I'm going to use choose cols to take the data and return the second column. Close parentheses on choose cols, comma, Alt-Enter. The next argument are the values. What column are the values in? Well, again, I need to choose cols, the data, and I want the fourth column, close parentheses on choose cols, comma. The next argument is the function that I want to use. Well, I want to sum the data, and then it wants to know if my data has headers and do I want to show them? Well, that's yes and show, so that's 3, comma, and lastly, do I want to show grand totals and subtotals? Just grand totals will do, so that's 1. Close parentheses on group by, close let, press enter, and just like that, I've summarized the data in an external text file using a formula. Pretty cool. And if that data changes, I can get an update by clicking the refresh all button. So now you know both approaches exist. The question is, when should you use which one? Here's how to think about it. Use import CSV or import text when your file is structured and straightforward. You're not combining multiple files, you're not cleaning messy data, you're just bringing it into Excel to work with. Or you want the import to be transparent. If someone else opens your file, they should be able to understand exactly what's happening without hunting through menus. You should use Power Query when you need to transform the data, merging columns, splitting text, pivoting, unpivoting, complex filtering. Power Query is built for this. Or you're combining multiple files or merging data from different sources. For this, Power Query is unbeatable. You're working with databases, web APIs, SharePoint lists. Power Query connects to dozens of data sources, whereas the import functions only work with text and CSV files. Excel has recently introduced several functions that support more explicit formula-driven workflows. Functions like group by, pivot by, and now these import functions are all about making complex operations transparent and maintainable in the grid. If you want to stay ahead and master the modern Excel functions that are transforming how analysts now work, I've created this walkthrough video which covers everything with practical examples you can use immediately. I'll see you there.